Cut. Sorry about that. I'll get a bit carried away here. Oh, sorry about that, peeps. Yeah, so I thought I'd do a little video of my NSU chopper that I built. I don't know if my head's in or not. Built this a couple of years ago, and I've been doing a few little jobs on it. When I first built it, it didn't look quite right. Some people would say it still doesn't look quite right, but I quite like it. We've got a chrome fender on it now, as my mate Mark would call it. Of course, it's called a mudguard over in the UK. And that's off, that's a pattern part made in Vietnam. Not very good quality, but from a fizzy, a Yamaha fizzy. So I've cut it about a bit, and I think that looks all right on there. Before it was up here, I'd used an NSU one, and it wasn't the right radius, and looked pretty crap. I had this awful seat on it, which I made, but I was never happy with it. It was alright, served its purpose. But I want to make a seat that kind of comes down a bit like this. So I've done a cardboard cutout. This is going to be the base. The wife came along and said, no, it wants to be a bit longer, so she wants an extra inch. You know, it seems a bit strange. Never had any complaints before. Or it could be maybe 2 inches, I'm not sure. So I'm going to make this a little bit longer, and put it on like this, and then go and show the boss and see what she thinks. And then I'm going to make a steel bottom from this template, which should be fun. I've got some rollers and I've got some steel. It's actually the roof of an Austin 1100, which I've had for years, so I think it'll be strong enough, because I should bend down some returns and what have you. Put some studs on it and everything, and then have another go, obviously recovering that myself, because it will match the little headrest. And that's in some leather from an old surfer that we used to have. So yeah, I've done a few mods since I last did the video on this, but I should go around and do a proper video and have a sort of riding up the road and back. One of the mods was, you can't see it from here, but I put a Kawasaki stand on it, side stand, and that's a good sturdy stand. The other one was a bit wibbly wobbly. So that's it really. I thought I'd do a few little vids of me sort of preparing template, and maybe a bit of metal bashing and what have you. So I hope you like the music. See you guys. So there's the template. That's an inch longer, and I got the boss out here. She says that looks all right. So got some metal. As I say, it's a piece of it's a roof of an Austin 1100, which I made into a drip tray many years ago. But I haven't used it for ages, because I've got a nice little round drip tray. So cut this one up for the material and see how we go. So I've got a nice piece of metal now. That's my template. So what I'm going to do is just go around that with a Sharpie. How much pictures you'll see. Might have my fat head in the way. We'll find out. So that's gone around that with a Sharpie. Oh yeah, I didn't show up very well. That'll be right. Black Sharpie on the dark green paint. So I'm now going to add a half inch on the outside, because that will bend down. Well, some of it will bend down. I'll be bending some of it down where it's straight. The rest of it, when it's bent like that, I shall be cutting another piece of metal which I shall weld on. That's the plan anyway. So initially I'll do a half inch all the way around. See how we get on with that. Righty ho. So that's a straight bit there. Straight bit here. Can't see where I'm parked. What a knob. Come on. Get your act together. That's up there. And the other one there. That's good. Yes, you get the gist of it. So I shall half all the way around them and I'll trim that out. Trim the front bit, but in all honesty, I won't be using this. I'll just keep it on there for now, but this will be a separate bit of metal cut and then welded on. There we go. Oh, we'll trim that bit off as well. So, yes. What I'm going to do now then, I was going to get the rollers out. I've got a set of rollers and I've got to try and roll that so it goes down and this up a little bit. That kind of ends up being flat. So I'll get it rolled first and then I can trim out where I can take these straight down and then work out the shapes that I've got to weld to the side, if that makes sense. So yeah, I did decide to go 20mm in the end. That's the 1/2 inch line. I went 20mm. I just thought it's better to leave a bit on now, which I can trim off after, rather than cut it too short. Because I've got to somehow get around this when I've got the fabric on, and I might just put a bit of trim on the outside with some nuts and bolts holding the leather down. We're not sure yet. Right, okay, let's get the rollers out now and have a little go with them. Right, I've got a little set of rollers here, which I bought last year actually, second hand, at the Steam Fair. And I never actually used them. So what I've done is I've set the roller here so it would just pull in that gauge steel through nicely. And I've dropped this roller right back. So I thought I could use that as a bit of a template. I've got to work out now. I'll get this right. So I want the bend in there. Bit of cement on there I'll have to take off. But and obviously I've got the bike to use as a pattern to try and get the right diameter. But yeah, it's a bit of trial and error. I'm not a fabby. So I suppose I ought to use a tape, not a tape, a steel rule, try and keep this one parallel. So at the moment it's on just over 50, 52. So if I go up to 48 for a start, am I taking that off? That top hat. So 48, that should keep it parallel. Sort of bend, here we go. Right. And when I've got the seating, I'll be doing it just in it halfway, because I don't want to bend the end bit. So I think I'm just going to play around with this and get an idea. So if I now go up to 45, it needs to be quite a deep angle, I think, to start with. I'm just going to compare that on the bike. It's not bad. It's not bad. So I'll do a little bit more. 45 at the moment. Go to 43. Maybe a little bit too much. Yes, I think that's a bit too much. So it's going to come square, go down. Yeah. So if I stick to 45, go to 45. So what I want to do is take this back down again. And I want to get this marked on the bike where I want to bend it. That's what I want to do. So that's allowing for that. I'll start bending down between there, and I'm thinking, I may cut this up of course, but I'm thinking doing my bend in that area to start with. I'm just going to get that cement off because that will affect the roller. So I'll scrape that off. Right, let's get this in. Sort of squarish. Right, this is the area I'm going to be bending it in. Alright. So we'll go for 50 to start with. 50 off of the top hat on the rollers. Right. Then we go to 40. Might as well go to 45. I'll be brave. 45. 45. Yep. it's a different measurement on there, probably because it's along a bit of metal. I don't know. I'm not a fabby, you can probably tell that. I think I'll carry on bending that a little bit more at a time. We'll get the bloody measure the right way around. Right, 43. 43. Not enough yet. Come on, get yourself sorted, Mickey. I'm going to go to 42 now. You've got to remember that this is going to be bent down, and I'm thinking I might just bend that down now. Just check my measurements. Going to be around 5.5. 5.5 from the back edge, which is there. Yeah, 5.5. So. 6. I'm going to go for 6. 6 inches there. So I'm going to mark that 6 inches there. Actually, is in that square. It's 5. Oh, that's not too bad. Not too bad. So, you visualise something with cardboard, and sometimes when you do the actual metal, it's completely different. So I'm now going to bend that down a bit. This is a bit. It's a little bit pissed by eye. I'm thinking. So if I now come up to where. Ooh, let's have a look at this pattern. I want it to be that bent back down. That's got to go bent back down so it fits on the bracket. Roughly in that area there. So I put that on there. Yeah, it's not far off there. So yeah, roughly about here. That's got to be bent down again. So bring that back there. Alright, give that a go. think I've got to do a lot more bending. Yeah. I want to get this radiused a lot more than that. So I'm going to go back in again. Put that there. Anyway, I shall carry on doing this and switch the video camera back on when it's looking better. Okay, that's what we got at the moment, folks. So I think we're going to work with that. I'm going to start bending some of the returns down now, and I may be trimming. Actually, yeah, I may be trimming a bit more for front here. We'll see. That is the front of this. Oops, sorry. That's the front of the seat at the moment. I think that might be hanging down a bit too much. What I have got to remember is I've got to get the bracket bolted onto there at an angle. Ooh, onto there, and cut a hole out for the seat stem nut. So yeah, coming along. Here we go. So it's coming along quite well. I've got it bolted on now because I've got to do the flanges, so I want it nice and rigid. So I shall just push a bit of metal around there, clamp it here and clamp it there, and then mark it with my 20mm measurement down here. So that would be a strip of metal I can then cut out. Same on both sides, and the same on the front here. Now on this side, I cut it and rolled it around. It's really quite tidy. But unfortunately, the first side I didn't spot you could do that. So I just got to wrap around a bit of metal around there. And then once that's welded up, that's going to be quite strong, I think. I'm really pleased with it. By the time it's got a bit of foam on it, not that much foam, and covered in blue leather, I think it'll look much better than before. And I won't have to have those horrible panels. I didn't like the panels that I had. Where are they now? They're let's have a look over here. I was running these, and they just didn't look right. So yes, happy with that. So next job will be tomorrow. Knock up some surrounds and get the welder out. It's the next day, and I've made a return for this side. Clamp that on, ready for welding. I may put a little hole in here and just put a rivet in before I start welding it, so I haven't got the clamps on. Not sure about that. But now I've come to the front bit, and what I've done is, using my little rollers, I've rolled up a bit. That's 20mm depth, and that fits on here quite nicely. So what I'm going to try doing now, you could just weld this on like that. How's it go? Well, you could just weld. I'm going to do a little joggle. Oh, sorry, get you in the camera. I'm going to try and do a little joggle. So I'm going to have to relieve a bit of this top because it's hanging down a bit. That's just the metal, the thickness of the metal. So I shall chop a little bit out there, and then I've just made a little joggling tool out of the same grade material. It's difficult with, I haven't got a tripod at the moment, but what happens is, let's get this in here. Might have to get a tripod. Hang on a minute. Yeah, so there we are. I've made this bit of metal and so I've cut a hole in and cut a slot in it with a guillotine, and that should be the same, about the same thickness, maybe a little bit more, of the metal. So this then slots in here where I want my joggle, and then I'll be lining up the line which I've put on there. You see it like that, and basically smacking this with a hammer, and it will put a little, hopefully it will put a little joggle in there. So that's what I'll do, and that sits on the bike like that, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off of here. I mean, that should fit in nicely. I'll then clamp it on the bike and go around to the other side, mark another line, and put a joggle in that side. Right, so I've skin pinned the side, as you can see, get rid of my mole grips, and I've got this joggled in now quite nicely. So all I've got to do now is, I can get around here, I've got to mark that down there for my next joggle, and then I should probably skin pin that on as well. And then when I'm welding it, I think I put some pop rivets in just to hold it and go for the weld. So she's coming along all right. Yeah, I'll just carry on. Okay, so I've welded up the tray and it's good and strong. Quite pleased with it actually. Needs a good deburr. I'll go around and deburr it all. I use my new Mighty Mig, Sealy Mighty Mig 150, and that's on gasless wire. So although it's not as tidy a weld as perhaps you get with MIG, it's great. You can weld out if it's a little bit, because I was welding outside, I don't want to set the garage on fire. It's a little bit breezy, it doesn't matter, because it's not blowing the gas away all the time. And okay, the welds aren't, they're not Formula 1 welds by any means, but they're not too bad. And got good penetration along here. You get a lot of spit back. You could spray anti-spatter before you start working on it, but for this job it doesn't matter because you're not going to see it anyway. So next thing I've got to do, as I say, is give it a good deburr, and then I've got to reposition this on the bike because this isn't quite, it's not quite in the middle of the bike. So I shall make these holes big, and then I want to put a doubler strip in there anyway, and also at the front another doubler strip, and then I shall do a bit of, well, rubbing down and get some paint on it. It doesn't have to look pretty. Yeah. Mickey's happy. Right, so I've finished off the welding. I've put, don't look too closely at the welding. But yeah, I've got a double plate up here, another doubler plate up here, got some studs coming, and I've got a bracket that'll go on there, should go on there, yeah, and that picks up off this seat bracket at the front. So I'm going to bolt that on now. It seems to have gone a little bit twisted, but I don't know if you can see that or not. I think it's since I've welded it, but hopefully I can, we're going to bolt it on and see what it looks like. And yeah, go from there. Well, the other thing is, I haven't mentioned before, I put this Honda SS heat shield on. At least I don't think I've mentioned it before. I've done a few videos on this over the last few days, and removed the homemade one that I put on, and I think it looks a lot better. Okay, it's been a little while since I've worked on this bike. I had a few holidays and what have you, but I thought I'd better give an update of the cover. I'm making my own cover out of this old sofa leather, and it's not a professional job, but it'll suit me, and it's coming along quite well. That's just a bit of paint on there I've got to get rid of, emulsion. So I've just clamped that on there to see how I'm getting on with my sewing, and if I undo these clamps, I'll show you what we got. one-handed. Now see, I've got the foam on there. I was going to go for 2 layers of foam. It's obviously more comfortable then, but it just didn't look right. It looked too fat like the other one. So the amount of time I'm using this, I just have to get a sore bum. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm really happy with the look of it. Whether you are or not, I don't know, but that's what it is. And looking at this, this is my my cover. I don't know if I can really show it. What I did do, I made some stencils. So that's the stencil for the top cover, and I think I added on 10 mil. Yeah, 10 mil. And then this is the round, the bit that goes around it. And I've obviously had to cut it to the shape. So I put a bit of card. I put a bit of card on the metal base, clamped it on, and then drew around. Actually, I think I drew around the top before the foam was on there. That's stuck down now with like spray on glue. So then cut out the 2 bits of leather. Unfortunately, I didn't have a real big long bit, so I had to use a bit that's already been joined. But that's okay at the front. Down the side, it's just going to be what it is. You're just going to have a join like that. If I can get this over here, you'd have a join like that down there. It would be about here, but it can only work with what I've got. So if I turn this inside out, I've been working with some nice strong thread. It's the wrong colour. It should really be black. The stuff that was joining the original sofa together seemed to be black, but it is what it is. And I'm just going to carry on sewing these bits together, and then when I turn it inside out, it should fit quite nicely. Now then I got to thinking, what am I going to do where it it's difficult to get it back on now, but come on, pop that over there. One-handed, it's a bit difficult. So if we've got this on here, that goes around the bottom, and it was going to glue on. And I thought it's not going to look quite right here. So I thought maybe get some small coach bolts. You can get 5mm coach bolts and put like look like studs along there. But the heads of those are about 13mm, and I think they look too big on here. So then I thought, I know what I got. On an NSU Quickly, you've got just going around slowly here. There's the old Honda, still waiting for parts on that. So I've got an old seat which someone gave me. Colin gave me it, and Colin from the Facebook group. All I had to do was pay for the postage. And it's got this quite rare bit of trim actually, but if I need to use it, I will. So I'm going to try this afternoon to get these little nuts off. They quite often just shear off the bolts, which you can buy, but again, they're about £20. I've got to watch me money on this. About £20 for a set plus postage of the little T-bolts that go inside here. So I shall try my hardest to get these nuts off, and maybe use that, clean that bit of trim up, and use that along the bottom here. It'll have to be bent and what have you, but yeah. So that's really as far as I got with it so far, and I'll leave it there till the next video. Well, it'll be joined on. It'll be seconds. Okay. I just managed to get this big bolt off, a big nut I mean. If I just turned it with a spanner, it would have just sheared that off, or it would have damaged the trim, because this bolt here goes through onto this trim on the other side. So that worked quite well. I haven't done any small ones yet, but what I thought I'd do is a quick video, well, part of the video, and show you how I did that, because it's quite useful. Quite often if you've got a nut that's seized on, and you know just by twisting it, what's going to happen is it's going to shear off the shaft of the stud. By cutting the nut carefully with a hacksaw, it kind of releases or releases the tension on it, and you can get a spanner on it, it'll turn. Sometimes you have to cut it twice. I mean, just knock the two halves off with a chisel. But let's see how we go. So I'm going to turn this around now, hopefully, without knocking the camera over. And check you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah. So if I put a spanner on there, this one will probably turn. Now it's really tight. It's not going to go. But it will go, but it will probably bugger up the aluminium part that I'm trying to save, unless that's a screw through there. But anyway, this is just to show how to undo a seized up nut and stud without damaging the stud. So you get a little junior hacksaw, and I'm just going to basically cut off the side of the nut and try not to cut the threads that are on the stud. If you do just kiss them, it's not a big problem. Well, it might be on an engine stud, but not on something like this. So it's a brand new blade. Cutting down to the washer. That should come off. A little tweak. Still on there. There we go. Now, as I say, sometimes I might have to cut across here, so you've got two halves to knock off. But let's see if this will grip. Yeah, there we go. That's turning now. So you've saved the stud. Finger, it's quite sharp. That's it. Got a little wire brush here. There we go. We can take the strap off then. Now let's have a go while I'm still on camera at one of these little ones, because these are the ones that I'm after. Screwdriver for that. You're going to need a little spanner as well. That's still attached. Now, I don't know, these look very corroded together, but I'll give this a little, there you are, that is actually turning. I'll get on there. I'll give that a little tap off. There we go. Now, it all depends on the condition of it when I actually get it out, because the threads might have corroded. But you never know. There's a little washer on there as well. That doesn't seem to be. if I can do that on, you know, all of them, might be onto a winner. But we'll see how we go. There you are, you see. See how much thread's left on it. Okay. Good news, I got them all out. I think they're usable again. They're M3s, so I'll get some nuts for them. There's a pile of debris and a pile of old washers. So each one of these little ones has a very thin washer underneath it, which makes sense, up against the canvas of the seat. And the little badge there, original badge. So yeah, my plan is to clean this up and use it on my seat. I think it'll look nice. Right. Okay, I've finally done all the stitching. That took a while. It's just held on with a few clamps at the moment, but I should be gluing it on with double-sided, what they call it now, Evo stick, impact glue. Probably the spray-on stuff, and then I'll get the trim from the other NSU saddle fitted. So what I should do is I'll fit that first, so I've got all the holes in the right place, and then glue this on, and then I'll be able to poke through where the holes are and put the trim on. That's the plan. So that's the next bit, coming on quite nicely. So there you go, my finished seat. Once I got into putting the leather on it, I kind of got a bit sticky with glue and didn't video it, but I used impact glue, spray-on glue, and then I put this trim on here from the other saddle. It's gone all right. It's not perfect, but then I'm not paying some upholsterer hundreds of pounds to make my little seat, so I'm happy with it. Very happy actually, and it does make the bike look a lot better, I think. So that's it really. We have to get it out on the road and give a little demonstration. The camera girl's not about at the moment, so. But yes, I'm happy with that. Well, here we are, lovely day for a demo ride on the chopper with all these little extra bits. I did say I'd sort of go around it and show what we've got here. It's an NSU Quickly, which was originally a 2-speed. It's 1959, but I've stuck a 3-speed engine in it and the 23-inch wheels, so I've had to do a bit of adjusting to the frame because the brakes are different, but I've just welded bits on and what have you. And then the forks I've made out of 2 sets just to make them longer at the front, so we welded it around there. Put these reflectors on just so you don't really see where the step is when you look at it. I've got a nice chrome front mud guard. You have to mind the shadows here, don't we, love? That's from a Yamaha FS1E. Some modified stays and what have you. And then we've got a Kawasaki side stand on it, which is a nice strong side stand. FS1E headlight, pattern part, a lovely little bracket made by John Piper from down in Bristol. I've got my little nice manifold here, exhaust manifold. That was made by Simon Jupp, my old mate from Leighton House Racing. And the silencer is of a Pooch Maxi. I mean, it's got a Honda heat shield on it. And here we have a lovely seat. Well, it's pretty good. I'm quite pleased with it. It's not a professionally made seat, but you saw me making that. The sissy bar is actually a bit of lawnmower handles joined together, and they kind of look a bit, I don't know, I think I might be changing them soon for something that's chrome. But that's the thing with these little bikes, you muck about and play around with them. But yeah, I'm going to start her up now. It's got quite a good little sound to it, yeah, for a 2-stroke. go up and down the road a few times. Okay, so we want some fuel. It's on reserve, I hope it's got enough fuel in it. I think there is a bit in there. Bit of choke. Hasn't been started for a while. Come on. There it is, folks. I'll just have to get used to the seat. That's actually alright. You find yourself sitting in the dip, which is alright, but then your legs are up a bit. But if you just lean back on the back bit, it's okay. So yeah, I hope you like the video, me making the seat and just a general look around the old NSU Quickly. And until the next video, bye for now.